Real businesses like Malibu Apothecary rely on Spectrum to keep them connected.
We're a fragrance company, but we also have a lot of technology that we use. Spectrum is really the backbone of any of the business we do here. Having a reliable, fast internet service that can fit my budget is really great. I traded a 9 to 5 for a 5 to 9. It's a lot of work, but I love it.
Spectrum Business Internet starts at $40 a month when bundled. Learn more at spectrum.com/business. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Is that a cat house?
Yes.
What is that again?
And it's a Kaya sushi house for the cats.
You got some high-end cats going on there.
Welcome to Story and Craft. Now, here's your host, Mark Preston.
All right, here we go. Another episode of Story and Craft. Thank you so much for stopping back by. Now, if this is your very first episode, my name is Mark, and thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it greatly. Today, good episode to kind of check out the show. Very talented actor, Annalise Basso. She's been acting since she was a kid. She's been in films like the movie Camp with Joey King, Snowpiercer, also Captain Fantastic, a movie I have not yet seen. I really want to see it. It's on the list. A lot of people talk about that fondly. Right now, the new film she is in is called The Life of Chuck. Tom Hiddleston's in it, so's Karen Gillan, Nick Offerman, Mark Hamill. Luke Skywalker, you know it's going to be good. But everybody's talking about this film. Lots of good buzz, as they say. I really enjoyed the opportunity to sit down, chit-chat with Annalise. But of course, as I always ask so humbly, if you would, make sure to follow Story and Craft. You get the notification. New episode, you know what's going on. Also, if you would, leave a review, leave stars or, give a little bit of love, however you would like. It helps people to find the show, and that is super cool, and I appreciate you so much for doing it. Also, the website, storyandcraftpod.com. Once again, storyandcraftpod.com. Everything about the show you could possibly want to know, past guests, just everything. It's right there. All right, so let's jump right into it. Today is Annalise Basso Day, right here on Story and Craft. Where originally did you emanate from?
I was born in Missouri. I'm Midwestern at heart. So that's where I came from. That's where I hail from. Do you hear there's some gardeners and leaf blowers outside? Do you hear that?
I do not. And even if we do, it's good. Okay. It's all right. Good. It's real life. We have that. We have, if you hear a little scratching, I've got a year-old golden retriever upstairs who's not happy that he's in his crate right now.
Oh, no.
But if he was here right now, he would be literally with his paws on my shoulder, looking in the camera, looking at the screen. He's a little bit of a hot mess. So
what's his name?
His name is Ranger. We went full Texas on this. So,
nice.
I live on South Padre. Well, I'm from Dallas originally, but I lived about 20 years in New Orleans. Spent time in LA or Southern California, and then now I'm on South Padre Island in Texas. Wow. Trying to do the whole tropical Mayberry thing is where I'm going right now. So I was looking up a little bit of your stuff, your info last night, and I had no idea that Gabriel was your brother. That's kind of I was like, that is shocking. Not shocking. I was like, because I just got done watching the most recent episode of was it Night Action?
Night Agent. Night Agent. Yeah.
Night Agent. I think he answers the phone. Night Action, I think. Or I forgot what it is. But I just got done watching.
I should know. I'm his little sister. I should know these things, but I forget as well.
I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want to,
Wait, are we already doing the part of the interview where is this part of it?
Oh, yeah, we're already recording. It's very easy going.
Oh, God, I thought we were just, and doing the intro, and then you were going to start asking me the the real questions. Oh no! Now I gotta get my podcaster voice going.
No, I was just speaking with somebody the other day, a fellow named Reed Diamond, and I was leaning in, I was adjusting some knobs on my thing. It's like, can you hear me? Okay, he's like, yes. So I was like, wait, let's go and do this whole thing like NPR style, like, so Annalise, tell me. No, I'm not going to do that for you though. I'm not going to creep you out like that. But no, actually, I was watching last night. My daughter is in town from school. She's now home for the summer, and she's 19. And I said, I was like, let me find some movies. I've always wanted to see Captain Fantastic. It is on my top 10 list of movies I haven't seen yet, but I want to see. I want to see that. I didn't think she would be that into it, so I'll watch it on my own time. But we watched Camp. I think that's what it was. We were watching Camp.
Oh, Camp. Yes.
Something seemed a little bit off because I'm a big fan of Joey King. Love the stuff she does. And that was shot in 2016, but they just released it last year, right? Am I right on that? Because I was like, wait, did I miss this when it came out?
No, you didn't miss it. We went back for reshoots over the course of several years. So, I mean.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We started shooting that, I think, back in 2016, 2017.
Okay. I want to make sure it's not on my end, but is your camera off by any chance? Or
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I didn't have an error right here. We don't put video. No. This is just audio only. I'm kind of old school, and actually it's funny. I was listening to Mark Maron, who I think does a wonderful job of doing podcasting and just kind of, I came from radio many moons ago, but he...
You have the voice for it, but you have the face for TV.
Oh, look, you sweet talker. Look at you. No, I was listening to him. He had this wonderful, I think his interview with David Harbour recently. And he talked about the zen of long form chats and audio only. And some people's like, no, you have to have little clips of video. I'm like, no, I kind of like the, theater of the mind. You could do it on a road trip or.
It's an art. I remember when we first started coming out to LA, my family would get really excited when we'd get a car that had Sirius XM. And we'd go to the old radio channel that they have and play these radio shows from, I don't know, way back when. And I don't know, there's definitely an art to it to create a whole world and transport someone. We're so heavily reliant on visuals. Yeah, stuff.
It's something a little more organic. I don't know. I kind of like the audio thing, but the video, also I'm a little lazy. The whole editing process on that, it would be just, I'm pretending like I'm philosophical, but I'm probably just more lazy than anything. But no, so how long have you been in LA?
I have been in LA. So yes, although I do hail from Missouri, I started coming out here when I was 8 or 9 and then was here from 9 to 18. And then, I did high school and all that, finished that. And then I just went wherever work took me. And I lived and worked part-time in Vancouver while I was on Snowpiercer, Colorado over COVID, New York over the last couple of years. And I just moved back to LA about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, actually.
Okay.
This month,
so
it'll be 2 years.
Where were you in Colorado?
Carbondale, a small mountain town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Colorado. A lot of my family is in the Denver or was it Aurora area.
I love that
loved it out
Aurora.
There. Snowpiercer is another one I want to watch. I kind of figure I got to watch the movie first and then I'll start watching this series. But I have this I don't know about you, I got a long list of things I haven't seen yet that I'm like,
same.
Really want to see, But did you do the whole Disney Channel thing or Nickelodeon, or did you do the young kid actor thing, or were you doing more commercial work when you were younger?
I did not. I mean, my brother was on an episode of iCarly. My sister was on an episode of iCarly. And I just never had my shot.
Well, no, you know something though, although if you did commercials, that's actually where the money's at when you're younger, I think,
True. That's what got my brother started. I did I think a KFC commercial or something. And he was like, hey, how much did you make on that? And he was 13 at the time. And that's when he started. He was like, all right, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah, I kind of like your retro headphones you got on there. It's kind of like it kind of reminds me of the old, Sony Walkman. Sorry, I'm showing my age here. With little foam, things. That was like the jam back then. It's got a little retro-ish look. I dig that.
These are cool. They're from a company. They did a company that I like called Brain Dead. Did a collaboration with technical. I don't know, just like an audio brand. Yeah. And I'm not going to try to pronounce it because it's like AI. I don't know if it's all one
gotcha.
word. I know I'm not as cool as I present myself to be, as these headphones make me seem. It's
I'm not
all
cool
an
at all. So
illusion.
if IKEA made headphones, that's kind of what I think they would look like. It's got a cool vibe to it.
Thank you.
I'd use these little in-ear things because it's just working in voiceover for so long, having headphones on for a long time, it gets kind of hot, and I get
That's why I like these, because they're lighter. I guess if they were IKEA, we could call them something like Hyben Clownton Club. Rolls right off the tongue.
Where are your people? Where do they originate from originally?
I have no idea. I mean, my mom did one of those ancestral tests, but I don't know. My dad, his side is Italian, Northern Italian, the paler part of Italy. And then Mom, the only thing that I remember her telling me about her ancestral test was 72% Scandinavian on her mother's side. So I don't know. I'm thinking Scottish, British, Irish, but who's to say?
I did that also, and it was very interesting because I'm Jewish, but half of my family is Ukrainian and Israeli. The other half, and I found this out, I'm like 1/4 Scottish, so it's like Jewish Scottish, yeah. So I really dug deep into it, and I found out that on one side of my family got here in 1907. The other side financed the Mayflower. I'm like, woo, wait a minute, I'm OG.
What?
Yeah, they even had a castle and the whole deal. There was a handful of people who financed the Mayflower to come over here, and they were one of them.
Well, now that you've brought ancestors into it, I'm related to Jesse James. I know that much. Jesse James and Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death.
How relevant right now. So,
right.
and I discovered I had a sister I didn't know. So that's a whole other thing. Ancestry
Mark!
was like, yeah. And it was really funny. Because I know she was born about 9 months after I went to summer camp when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So I think I know what happened during that. It's a whole thing.
How long were you at summer camp?
Long enough, apparently. Let's be honest, it doesn't take that long. But keeping it PG-13. But no, it was really interesting. So we actually met her and stuff. So I grew up as an only kid, and then my father remarried somebody much younger when I was 30, and I had a little sister. So I got I grew up as an only kid wishing I had family, but I guess I got like siblings in the most roundabout way possible. But outside of the dog is my closest sibling, I guess, when I was a kid. So do you have any pets at home with you?
I do. I have 2 cats. And where are they? They usually harass me whenever I'm doing anything important, whenever I'm taping an audition. They sit at my feet, or like they have a very acute awareness of when to meow and crawl all over my computer and all that. So, but they seem to be at peace. I don't know where they are.
Very nice. I'm fascinated. What is that bar thing behind you? Is that like a ballet thing, or?
Yes, it's a ballet bar.
Oh, that's how I thought it was. I'm sorry. It's like maybe it's ADHD. I don't know. But I was sitting there going, what? So that I'm studying this, going, that seems like one of those ballet things.
Yes, it is. Yes, there's like a cardboard.
Is that a cat house?
Yes. It's a Kaya house, Mark.
What is that again?
And it's a Kaya sushi house for the cats.
Oh, how cool! So you got some high-end cats going on there.
Yeah, they're.
Makes me feel bad. I gave my dog pizza crusts a couple days ago. So
no, that's good. They eat pretty boring, healthy food. A pizza crust. I'm sure they'd enjoy a pizza crust. My cats, but
well, I was curious. Does your brother live in the LA area as well? Did your family migrate there, or did they stay in the St. Louis area?
So we're all spread out all over the country, and he's currently moving all around. I mean, he's working so much. I think I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about what he's doing, what he's working on.
That's okay.
But he's everywhere. And my sister, she's in Florida with her husband, and then Mom is in Tennessee, and Dad is in the woods.
Dad's is he like
cabin in the woods?
Okay. So I didn't know if he was just sort of like going like Grizzly Adams into the woods, or if he's just kind of like he set up a place. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was speaking to somebody the other day. It's like, what would be the optimal situation for me? I said, I'd be having some land, or maybe living in the woods, and that's cool. But I'm a beach guy, and I like to be near the beach. Yeah. So now, are you the only redhead in your family?
No, my mom's a redhead. Dad, I mean, he was strawberry blonde. It's mostly gray now.
Okay.
But sister, she has hair like Sleeping Beauty, but with a hint of strawberry. Like, it's strawberry gold. And then brother is more auburn. But I would say I have the most flaming red.
I think the Italian the Italian DNA kind of came in. Your brother seems to have that, because he's got that look. Did Night Agent, did that get picked up again? I know I always could conflate Night Agent and there was another one where there was another Netflix show is.
Is that the one with Eddie Redmayne?
That's that. The Peacock thing. No, this is where he is the recruit. The recruit. That's what where the guy is recruited into the CIA to be an attorney or something. I think one of them didn't get picked up for the next season, and one of them did. Do you know if Night Agent's coming back or?
Maybe you should call the Night Agent line. Ask my brother.
Oh, that was great promotion right there. I like that. That was a nice segue.
Because I actually don't know. I don't know.
Was this something growing up you were like with your brother? Like, was the theater part of your life when you were a kid, or acting, or was this something that you all just kind of independently found your way into?
Well, my sister, she was, a model. She's the beauty of the family, and she was doing her thing back in St. Louis. And I would tag along with older sister to these little local St. Louis fashion shows. And at one of those, an agent approached my mom, and she asked if her girls would be interested in trying this out for a little bit. And so she talked it over with my dad. My dad, who's a very pragmatic lawyer, just said, as long as it doesn't interfere with their schooling and all that. So then we started booking locally, and we just started this and started making money. And it was more of a lucrative career choice to pursue this full time. It wasn't, we're all enjoying this. It was, they could actually have a future in this. And so my mom and my dad were very strategic about the way they supported our career, because it wasn't about, they booked a couple jobs. Let's, pick up our lives, move out to LA. It was all very dependent upon, we took baby steps. And I think I don't know, for any parents out there who have children who want to be actors and who are talented, I don't know, just baby steps, because this has become my whole life. And there was a time where it felt like, how did this even happen? How did I even get here? And, in high school, I was balancing a full-time professional career as an actress and then a full-time academic careir.
Did you finish up high school, like regular high school, or did you just kind of segue out into?
Graduated
you did finish high school.
Yeah, I got my GED. I got my GED, and then I wanted to get my diploma, so I just continued going to school. And I loved my teachers, and so I continued going to school and got my diploma. And then, it was really only until recently that I have decided that this is my destiny, not just my career or a hobby or just something that I like to do. It's something that I've become passionate about and fearless about pursuing. And that's very new, all within the last couple of years, I'd say.
Could you imagine yourself doing anything else, or what was there anything growing up or even recently where you said, this turns me on. I could do that thing also? Or was the acting thing just kind of, were you funneling right into this? Okay, the acting thing is the thing for me.
I want to do it all, which is why acting is such a great career for me, because with each role, you get to explore different parts of yourself. And with Captain Fantastic, for example, the director put us through a nature survivalist boot camp in the foothills of the Cascade Mountain Range.
Really?
And I got to do archery lessons and yoga lessons. I hadn't done yoga before. I was 14 years old, and I was just like encouraged to just read all these books that I wasn't even reading at school at the time. And I don't know, acting, I think, is a practice of is a study on like the human experience. And by pursuing that as a full-time job, my job as an artist is to try to gather as many of those experiences as I can. So when I'm not working, I teach ballet to, these little girls at the figure skating rink where I first started. I was figure skating competitively at the time. And then I chose to focus more on ballet because I fell in love with my ballet teacher. Not in that way, but I just loved her teaching. And we still dance to this day. I mean, in the laundry room of her apartment building, because I knew I wasn't going to be professional, but I loved it. And I do Muay Thai because I think it's important to know how to defend yourself, but also I want to be a fighter in a movie one day. I want to know what it is to train and put in the hours. And I'm just trying to gather as many experiences as I can and exploit life.
It sounds like kind of like you want the authentic experience as opposed to playing like you kind of want to put the shoes on and you want to do the thing before you play it on camera.
You're right. You're exactly right. And I just want to experience as much as I can.
So going back, Captain Fantastic, I'm a big fan of Viggo Mortensen, and Steve Zahn was in that also, wasn't he?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, love that guy. Was that your first film that you had done? Something where, you'd had a more substantial part, let's say.
I would say it was my first role because I had worked on Oculus several years prior to Captain Fantastic, and that was really one of those jobs, Oculus, and then I'll talk about Captain Fantastic, but Oculus, I remember working with Mike Flanagan, and he treated me like an adult, where usually on set, when you're in your teenage years, I think I was 13 at the time, people don't really know how to interact with you. And by that time, I had already been working on sets for like 5 years and working with adults, but people still, they don't know they either treat you like a toddler or treat you like you're 40. And here's this incredible director, Mike, he comes along and he's just like talking to me the same way he was speaking with Karen Gillan, and there wasn't any hesitation or fear. There was just trust and respect. And to have that at such a young age was a huge gift, especially on that set, because it was a lot of heavy material, heavy stuff. And then Captain Fantastic came along a few years later, and that was honestly one of the first roles where I actually had to do some research.
How old were you when you did Captain Fantastic? You were 14, I think. Is that what you said?
I must have been younger when I did Oculus. I don't know. It's all kind of blurring together because I was 14. I was 14 when I did Captain Fantastic, and I probably 12 or 11 or 12 when I did Oculus.
And you played the younger version of Karen Gillan, if I'm not mistaken,
yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Which is what she's in The Life of Chuck. So it's kind of an odd full circle thing for
yes.
her there. Yeah, with her, yeah.
A mini Oculus reunion. That was so fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that I remember being a kid, and I always seemed to get along pretty well with adults. It was always nice the one just sort of just talk to you like you're just one of them, as opposed to, well, bless your heart, talking down to you. I grew up in the South, where bless your heart can mean many different things.
Yes,
but
it often means the opposite of bless your heart.
Yeah.
Real businesses like Malibu Apothecary rely on Spectrum to keep them connected.
We're a fragrance company, but we also have a lot of technology that we use. Spectrum is really the backbone of any of the business we do here. Having a reliable, fast internet service that can fit my budget is really great. I traded a 9 to 5 for a 5 to 9. It's a lot of work, but I love it.
Spectrum Business Internet starts at $40 a month when bundled. Learn more at spectrum.com/business. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
Hate doing cardio? Try brushing and flossing your teeth. I'm not talking about building up a sweat. I'm talking about building a healthier mouth for a healthier heart for a healthier you. Smile Generation trusted dentists look at your care through the lens of the mouth-body connection, because what happens in the mouth plays a critical role for the rest of your body. To find a dentist near you committed to treating all of you, visit smilegeneration.com/confidence today and live longer, healthier, and happier with confidence unleashed.
Hey, it's Mark Preston, and I would like to tell you a little bit about one of our sponsors, X-Chair. Whether you're working from home or in the office, if you have a job or a task that has you sitting for a long period of time, this is the chair for you. Very comfortable, very customizable. They'll make it pretty much any way you want it. The look, the feel, the fabrics, everything. Plus, this is the kind of chair you can adjust to make it fit you just right. No matter your body type, it's spot on. I love my X-Chair. It has the Elemax cooling, heating, and massage technology. It is going to make your lower back feel so very good. Got to throw a little bit of love to X Chair. It's the chair I'm sitting in every time I talk to a guest. So I've had a lot of time to have my tush in this chair, and the tush, the back, everybody's happy. Just go to storyandcraftpod.com/chair. Once again, X Chair, check it out, storyandcraftpod.com/chair. Love my X Chair. Your back will thank you. So as you're doing this, was it embraced by your parents? Were they kind of like, okay, this is cool. We're all right with you missing some school or doing some traveling or kind of putting yourself in some situations maybe you wouldn't normally be in? Were they cool with it, or were they cautious?
Cautious, very cautious. And cautious and very strategic, because my education was really important to my dad, and just not even just education, like, oh, they have to go to college, they have to follow a traditional path. He just wanted to make sure that we had all the tools, that this wasn't just something secondary.
Right.
He always, even as kids, made us organize our priorities, and especially with something that demands so much of your time and your life, acting, he just wanted to make sure that we were pursuing it in a wise way.
I got you. Well, you said he was an attorney, or is an attorney. What kind of law? What vocation within law does he practice?
Civil litigation.
Civil litigation. So he's good at arguing, basically.
He is. He's very good at arguing. Yeah, and he taught me to be good at it too.
No, was your mother, or is your mother? Does she work as well, or did she have a career, or was she kind of focused on the kids at home?
She was a computer engineer, and then she put her career on hold to become a full-time mother. And I mean, she's really smart as well. And she is where my dad was supporting us logistically and financially. My mom was the boots on the ground here in LA. So while my dad stayed in St. Louis, he continued working, and he would come out and visit while he could. My mom was out here driving all of us kids to auditions. And I mean, 3 kids in the industry there. I mean, we didn't have, I remember she still had paper maps in the car, and we didn't have the garment. Like, I remember when we would get a garment, because she's like, I just can't do it anymore, because we were all going to school.
What was that thing they had in LA? In Dallas, where I grew up, they had something called Mapsco. In LA, they had this thing. It was a spiral bound like book, and it was laid out on a grid, and you could look up an address, and you had to go to a certain page and find the corresponding. There was a name for it. I don't know. Everybody seemed to use that, when they went for their remember having to drive around for your auditions? Now, did you have an opportunity to live? What was it called? The Oakwood, whatever that.
Yes, I was there.
You did. Awesome. See, I envy. I've asked a few folks. They're like, no, I had some friends over there. To me, it would be so much fun as a kid to be living in a place with a bunch of other kids doing this odd thing. You got a tribe around you, And so, what was it like living there? This, for those who, if you're listening, don't know, it's basically an apartment complex which is populated, which is mostly furnished, if not mistaken, and it's just kind of populated by people in the industry coming out for pilot season or whatever, But I gotta know, what is it like living there with a bunch of other kids?
Well, you said tribe, and if it is a tribe, it's more like Lord of the Flies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a little bit more chill than that, but so y'all are like, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's very competitive, and everybody has their cliques, and I mean, it's the Oakwood was a wild place. It was a wild place.
Really? Okay, I didn't envision it being a wild place. So it was a bunch of prepubescent kids talking industry stuff. See, that to me would be odd, being at the pool and having a bunch of little kids talking industry talk, but what made it wild for you?
Wild because...
Were there like parties? Were there things going into the pool? I mean, or was it just a lot of gossiping, a lot of drama kind of stuff?
It was mostly, I mean, I remember these epic games of, Sardines, where we would play. I mean, this is a huge apartment complex, and these kids, we would get together and we would play. Do you know the game Sardines?
I was going to ask you what Sardines was or is. What is that?
so you go, one person's it, and you go and you try to find, it's basically like hide and go seek. Only if you find someone, I think you hide with them. It's been so long since I've played it. So, I mean, they were just epic games. And so there was camaraderie at some points. It's like, I don't know. When I say wild, I just mean we would have these karaoke nights too. It was just filled with like stage kids, stage parents, and all the drama that entails. And
so there wasn't like any like bloodshed or anything. There was no bloodshed. It was just, I got you.
No.
So the
but
parents, of
definitely
course,
a hierarchy.
Well, here's the thing. I in coaching voiceover, which I do, and I work with some kids, Disney Channel kids occasionally, but when you look at the young kids whose parents are a little more, okay, this is their thing, is cool. And then you have the parents that are like living vicarously through their kids, the stage moms, they kind of scare me a little bit, because they're living vicariously through the kid. Yeah. I was, there was a show on Netflix called Love. It was produced by Judd Apatow, and it was actually, I think they shot it at the Oakwood. Judd Apatow's daughter played a young actor in a TV show, and the lead character, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting his name, but he played an on-set tutor. And it was like, David Spade played her father and I forgot who played her mother, but there was this whole like, because there's a lot of money involved also. So it gets to be kind of weird with like the parents, but the kids, like, I don't know. It's, I'm kind of glad I didn't have
identity, control.
Identity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you kind of escaped a lot of that though. So that's good.
I did. And, I mean, my mother was a stage mother in the best way. I mean, she was relentless when it came to paving the path for my brother and my sister and I. And it's not easy. It's not easy being a kid out here, but it's also not easy being a parent, because ultimately, I mean, you're the one, when your child is underage, to make the decision, who is your child going to work with? What sets are they going to be on? And what projects are good for them, not only as an artist, but as just like a person. And I mean, that's why I had to have a couple years that just expanded my gratitude for the career that I've had this far, because it's easy to look back and be like, a lot of the times people ask me, well, don't you wish you had a normal childhood? And sometimes I look at how much time I was actually able to spend at school and how I was killing myself on set trying to get all of my work done. Because once you take the GED as well, I mean, the production no longer recognizes you as a minor, and they don't have to provide a set tutor. They don't have to build in time for your schooling on set. So
really,
I mean,
even if you're under 18, they look at it like they don't have to. Really, I never knew that. Now, are you still the rules still like they're limited in how much they can work you?
No.
Or once you have your GED, it's open season to really?
Open season, legal adult. So I was working adult hours. I was taking also advanced courses like APs and stuff in high school, and I didn't have a tutor, and it was really difficult, and it pushed me to my limits. But I'm also, I don't know, I think suffering and those moments where you get to push yourself beyond what you think you're capable of, and somehow stretch a 24-hour day to feel like, I don't know, just break the binds of time. Time is relative, right? I mean, you just
believe me, I know that feeling. It's just sort of like, okay, how long until we just get this done? Are we in overtime? Fine. Okay, we just need to get this done. The life of Chuck, though, I gotta admit a little bit of casting envy. You got to work with Luke Skywalker. I think that's kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
But also Nick Offerman. I got to know, like, without giving anything away, generally, what's kind of the premise, and how did you plug in within the cast? And it's like even Matthew Lillard. One of my exes was she was like, is my ex-wife. She was like, only got one of them, but she's like, you remind me of Matthew. She had a crush on Matthew Lillard, and she thought I looked sort of like him, which I don't see it, but I'm like, every time I see Matthew Lillard,
I see it a little bit.
Really? Okay. Well, she was always just like, she had a thing for him. And she's like, oh, if you're going to be act in a movie with Matthew Lillard. I was like, well, I'll try, but he's always been such a cool dude. I don't know. It's a very intriguing cast, like folks you wouldn't normally see showing up in a film together, but I really want to know a little bit more about it and kind of how you plugged into it.
Well, it's about this guy, Chuck, and his life. I'm kidding. No, it's
well, there you go.
Exactly. Chuck has, I think I'm allowed to say this. I don't know. We'll see. Ask for forgiveness, not for permission, right? I don't know. So Chuck has cancer, and it's basically what his life looks like, what those moments look like right before, the end, or is it the beginning, or just what is it to be human and experience the suffering and the joy and the hope of life. And it's really a movie about hope and why we keep living despite suffering and chaos and all of that. Just a reason to keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's kind of life right there. Certain things happen, positive, negative. You start seeing things through a different prism. Like it just, and that's the beauty to me of acting, movies, or films and TV is you get to live vicariously through other people's situations, or at least contemplate something. And I think, aspirationally, maybe it would make us more empathetic as humans. But, according to Elon Musk, that's a weakness, which it's not. The heck with that guy. He knocks the pictures off my wall. They shoot off his SpaceX rockets about 6 miles south of me here. So whenever sonic boom of the thing comes down, like the pictures are rattling on the wall, I'm like, fucking Elon. So, when you have a dog that pees on the floor because it was so loud, it's kind of like I'm like cleaning up pee, going, "Damn Elon." Take a little sidetrack there. True story. Yeah. Well, the only other time is one time they set it off. They're shooting them off at like later on during the day. Now they used to be like at 7 a.m. And there's nothing like a 60-pound dog landing on top of you because he got scared when he jumps up in bed.
God.
I'm like, you hear a boom and then a dog. It's like, fucking Elon.
Or the first episode of Last of Us. Is it the end of the world or is it just a rock?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great show. That's great. What are you watching right now, by the way, as far as films, TV? What's kind of grabbing your attention?
Well, okay. I keep saying that. Well, I'm not good at watching things. I'm really not good at staying plugged in, but I realize I have to make a conscious effort to, watch what everybody's watching. And it's a problem because there's so much content. Yeah. And yeah. I don't know. Whenever I want to watch something, I text my friend Nicholas Goldstein, who we're writing together right now. And I just ask him what I should watch. And he's made some really good recommendations, but they're not current. Like I don't know. He recommended, what was it? It was this Austrian movie called Revanche, and it's, I think, a directorial masterpiece. And I was never one of those to be like, oh, film, cinema. I mean, I love Jurassic Park. I love The Matrix. I love, I don't know. I love lots of movies. I'm not a snob, but I am picky.
So am I. And I really, my favorite thing to do is to happen across an independent film, which is just, just kind of cool. It's like, how did I miss this? Drives my daughter Emma nuts. I got all the streamers. Besides the stuff I need to watch for, doing this, I'm going through and going, a part of me is like, I got all these damn channels. All these things. I can't find anything. And the one thing I think we're missing is great comedies. Like we don't have nearly as many as we used to. Like I mentioned Judd Apatow before. I like those goofy, just absurd, like Anchorman-ish kind of stuff. See, when the world gets a little too serious, I just want to watch comedies. But kind of like you, I have a hard time staying kind of zoned in because I'm always kind of like working on my laptop or doing something. So I'm kind of like halfway paying attention. And if I really want to see something, I got to go to the theater, because I can't go anywhere else. Like, what did you grow up watching? Like, I don't want to say inspiration necessarily, but what were you watching where you're like, just kind of grabbed your attention and kind of like became a spot on the timeline, if you remember back, like, oh yeah, I watched that movie when I was this age or whatever.
I mean, all the Disney classics, like the classics, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. I mean, I like the princess movies, and Cinderella is one of my favorite princesses because, I mean, just despite enduring a whole lifetime of just abuse, she remains sweet and kind and hopeful. And, I don't know. I think it takes a great amount of strength to be able to do that. So I like her. I like Cinderella. I remember watching The Matrix with my family. I remember watching Gladiator and The Patriot and just sweeping, epic, hopeful movies that, I mean, going back to how we started in this, my sister was always directing and creating the worlds that my brother and I would play in. And I mean, I was younger than them. My sister's 32 and my brother's 30 right now. So I was too young to really play in their games. So most of the time I'd just be watching them.
Yeah, you didn't have any voting rights. You were
didn't
just
have any voting
participating.
rights. But I learned a lot from the way that my siblings told stories. And my dad was there with a video camera. He documented everything.
That's awesome. Because back when you were younger, before we all had cameras on our phones, I mean, the kids don't realize, it's actually kind of cool. You watch an old movie from like the 80s or maybe early 90s, maybe, and there's somebody walking around with a video camera that's like the size of a suitcase, it seems like, So it's cool. I'm glad I grew up without a phone to document everything. But I also wish I had a phone to document. There are certain things I'd love to, like, it's more like family stuff or like, what was I up to with my friends? What kind of a knucklehead was I when I was younger?
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
No, my mom always had a camera, and my dad always had the video camera. My mom created these incredible scrapbooks of just our entire childhoods, and then my dad would be there actually capturing it. And I don't know, just the actual home videos, putting in the VHS or the tape and then watching that back. I don't know, having something tactile instead of digital. I mean, sometimes I look at the 10,000 pictures I have on my phone, and it's like, yeah, I have all these memories, but I don't know, if the cloud were to disappear tomorrow, then all of these memories would be gone. And I think there's a lot of value.
I was watching an episode of, way back when I watched Walking Dead. I kind of stopped watching after a few years. I remember one of the characters said, they had a child who died. They said, I can't remember what they looked like. Because, you'd have pictures, but everything was digital. So that was all gone. It's like, wow, that's kind of wild. It's funny. I've got a photo album sitting right next to me here of all the pictures I'm needing to scan in color correct, because some of them got that little yellowness going on. But have y'all scanned all these old pictures? Have you done that?
My mom digitized all of our home videos. So those are safe. I mean, because over time the film deteriorates and all that. So my mom digitized all the home videos, and then the pictures, she still has the photo albums. I don't think those have been, I think she's printing photos, not scanning them, which she's, she wants to have the actual thing.
That's my new thing, is I have all this tape. I'm like, I need to digitize this before this stuff gets wonky.
Yeah.
Spectrum Business keeps real businesses, like Rise Bakery, connected.
As a business owner, my Spectrum services help simplify my day. Everything we do is easier knowing that we've got a reliable connection. And it helps our business just run really smoothly. Even though our techniques are very ancient, we rely just as heavily on technology. Spectrum allows my business to go from surviving to thriving.
Keep your business running smoothly with Spectrum Internet, starting at $40 a month. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
Hate doing cardio? Try brushing and flossing your teeth. I'm not talking about building up a sweat. I'm talking about building a healthier mouth for a healthier heart, for a healthier you. Smile Generation. Trusted dentists look at your care through the lens of the mouth-body connection, because what happens in the mouth plays a critical role for the rest of your body. To find a dentist near you, committed to treating all of you, visit smilegeneration.com/confidence today and live longer, healthier, and happier with confidence unleashed.
One of the things I like to do is something I'd call my 7 questions, just my little random bit of fun to kind of find out little extra nuggets. And I always say this, I always talk food at least once on my show. I'm a big food nerd.
Oh, great. I'll talk food any day.
Awesome. Well, here we go. Well, the first question I got is, what is your favorite comfort food? Bad day, good day, doesn't make a difference. It lands every time for you.
I have to be honest, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so ever since moving back to LA, there's an Erewhon that's two blocks away from me. And
That's that fancy grocery where
it's
everything's
absurd.
Pricey.
It's absurd. But they have this buffalo cauliflower that is just I'm addicted to it, and now I've built in a part of my budget where I'm sacrificing other things in life so that I can accommodate this craving.
Really? I got to be honest with you, and people busted on me for going to Whole Foods, well, Whole Foods got a little weird after, what's his name, bought it from Amazon, but it's not really the same, but I'm like, I like stuff that's relatively healthy, I like good selection, that kind of thing.
Stuff that makes me feel good as well as taste good.
Exactly. Yeah. I was at an awards show in LA, and a good friend of mine, she and I were, I love going to Cantor's Deli is my jam. I talk about it regularly on the show, but I always love going there. But she's like, let's just run back over to my place, just kind of hang out. Let's go get some stuff from the grocery. I'm like, all right, cool. That's fine. My heart's a little broken. I really wanted matzo ball soup, but I digress. So we went to this Erewhon, and all I remember, I'm walking around, and, still in my suit and everything, from the thing, and just kind of walking around, and I had to put my reading glasses on because I was like, is it really that expensive? Are you kidding me? It's like, what is it? And the thing is, we got like a little, I remember getting like a sandwich, like a little wrap. It was like $12-13 or something. It was like, I don't know, sorry. But anyway, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, if you have something that's your jam, make no excuses. If it brings you joy.
If that's not around though, but just a loaf of sourdough and bread. And butter. Sourdough and butter.
You know what's really good sourdough? If you get like a really good one, I like to get like olive oil and kind of crush up a little bit of garlic and like spit some. You're Italian. You got Italian roots, and dip the bread in there. Oh, that's good. You can tell. I always typically do this before I've had lunch, so I just go off on a tangent on food. But my next question: if you're going to sit down and talk story, you got three people. You and three people, and you're going to have coffee and just talk for an hour. Living or not, who would those three people be you would like to have sitting down with you?
Rod Serling.
You're the first Rod Serling. I got to ask you though, why Rod Serling?
Twilight Zone. Just how he was able to tell so many stories, and just he created a whole universe. And he was fearless in his storytelling. He broke so many rules, and he didn't preach ever. He did it but
there was a lot of social commentary. And his daughter is posting a lot of like his old quotes, and I've really kind of gotten into it. He was really dialed into the human condition, or whatever you want to call it, but like some of her shortcomings. He understood and could tell stories in a digestible way where people like, oh, I didn't see it like that.
He told stories, but he never preached. And that's something that I really respect. And that's something that I have to be aware of as a storyteller. It's like, as much as I want to put what I want to say, he served story and the truth. He served the truth. And he was able to pursue the truth of what the story needed, as opposed to what he wanted to say, if that makes sense. And he had like just an incredible amount of creative integrity, and I see that in his work.
It felt like that. He was on a mission to tell some stories that made a difference. I don't know, but he's, I didn't have an appreciation for him until I was very much an adult. I mean, the full appreciation until I was an adult. But yeah, I've never had anybody say Rod Serling, and that he's got to go on my short list now as well. I never even thought about having Rod Serling, but
yeah,
yay, very cool. But for your age though, I mean, I'm assuming, were your parents watching The Twilight Zone?
We would watch The Twilight Zone because there's a Twilight Zone marathon that happens every New Year's Eve. They just play all the episodes. They start at, they're, 5-6 seasons, I forget. But they play all the episodes, I think, starting like a week before New Year's Day or 2 weeks. I don't know. But it's a marathon, and we would turn it on New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve, have it on all day, and then have it on all New Year's Day.
Now you got like, I got a little itch to go. My son, I don't think has ever seen it. He would be the one that would be into it. My 20-year-old.
Have you ever read his plays? Because he was a playwright as well.
No,
Yeah.
how did I not know that? I didn't know that. I
Requiem
did
for a
not know he was.
Heavyweight. He has a play called Requiem for a Heavyweight, and it was made into a movie, but it started out as a play first, and I think he also has one called Patterns, and I'm working my way through them, but
Really?
Requiem for a Heavyweight is fun.
I think it's wonderful when you can kind of discover a thing like, oh, this is something like with him. And like, I'm kind of getting into it's one of those things I was too young to appreciate, when I was much younger. But now I'm enjoying getting into his stuff. So we got Rod Serling sitting down for a cup of coffee. Who would be the other two folks who you would enjoy?
C.S. Lewis and Euripides.
Look at you like a thinker over there. You're like, oh, wow, that's
No. Sorry, buddy. Euripides, I got to kick you out. Shakespeare. Serling, Shakespeare, and C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, Shakespeare would be interesting. Okay, do you really talk like you write? Or it's like, it'd be really funny if Shakespeare is just like this chill, relaxed guy is like, using like really common language and only his writings are like Shakespeare. He's one of the reasons why I got scared of stage, But
oh, really?
memorizing a whole script. Anybody listen to the show? No, I always say this. I can memorize a few pages of a screenplay. I can do that, but a whole I'm like, oh God, no! I don't know if I could do that.
I could imagine you on the stage with that voice, just to be or not to be.
No, there are certain people that I think that I down here we don't have a lot of stage stuff. Like there are people I would like to see, like last night I saw him on TV, Sam Rockwell. I would love to see him on stage. Or there are certain people who I want to see them on stage doing their thing, But me performing. Nobody needs that. Maybe one day. Now, next question. Let's go back to when you were younger. Very first celebrity crush. Who was that for you?
Oh, no. Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man.
I can see that. Now, let's say you're going to be on an island for a year. The next question. It's an island you want to be on. It's great. It's exotic. It's pretty much like a resort, but you got to be there a whole year. There's no streaming. So if you want to listen to music, you got to bring one CD, and to watch a movie, you got to bring one DVD, something you can listen to and watch over and over and over again. What would that be?
No. I should have had, maybe I need to consult my list. The movie that comes to mind, maybe The Secret Garden, 1993 though.
I'm trying to remember. I know my kids watched one, The Secret Garden.
I just rewatched it recently.
Did they come out with another one after 93 or was 93? Okay.
Yeah, no, they came out with one, I think, I don't know, within the last probably 10, 15 years. But
I know my kids, we watched it I'm trying to think, 2009, I think is when we watched it when they were young. That was a great movie. Okay, so Secret Garden. And what? Now, I will say a box set. You can do that. You can do a box set when it comes to music, if you would like.
Okay. I don't know if this is cheating, so let me know if I need to change my answer, but I would do the Chronicles of Narnia audiobooks.
You found a loophole just then. An audiobook.
You said box set. You said I could do box set, but okay, music. You're right.
No. That's good though. You did find. You know what? I'll allow that for all of my guests. But I'm curious, musically, what grabs you?
I listen to everything. I really do. I'm trying to think of my favorite album or what, but it really just depends on the day, and I don't discriminate. I do listen to everything. There's even country sometimes.
That would make my youngest is the country fan, and they like her boyfriend. I think they're one of their main connecting principles is they both like country music. So it's kind of a, so she's excited.
Simple.
She has her cup.
It's just simple. And Willie Nelson.
Oh yeah.
I would listen to the blues with my dad a lot, like, Stevie Ray Vaughan and.
Okay, now you're hitting home runs. He's a Dallas boy. I'm big, And it was funny because down here on the island, my daughter bartended this big bar called Clayton's Beach Bar, free promotion for them. Just real big, enormous deck thing, and but they have like rap acts and some acts. And here on the island, I'm going to spring break. I'm sorry. So the spring break circa when I was spring breaking. I didn't have a chance to come here, but Stevie Ray Vaughan was playing on the beach and the crowd was insane. I'm like, that would be a cool spring break. Yeah. I mean, they had put a stage on the beach and it was like, this was the spring break destination for many, many years. And then I go down there and I'm like, to see, my daughter and like, it's like, I'm feeling
Spring
like
break.
an old guy now.
Boy. Yeah. And then Stevie Ray. Oh my, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Now the next question, if you were to go from stem to stern from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, what are the component parts for you of a perfect day? Those things that if they all happen, it's just a glorious day for you.
Wow. I mean, I have to think about that because it's really just one thing. I have a daily practice that I do. And if that happens, then I don't know. Everything else is just a bonus.
Is it kind of like a meditative or exercise thing, or? I mean,
it's like a spiritual practice, and it's definitely a part of my daily routine. Sometimes, I mean, just the last month or the month before last, actually, back in March, I put up a play that I wrote, directed, and produced. And it was just like the days would just start to blend together and I forgot to make time. And this is how we know what our true priorities are. And I do, I prioritize this, I thought I did at least, this like piece of my life that I cherish and hold sacred. And, sometimes we just get so busy that the things like when the days go by and you're like, oh, something's missing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 days or 3 days. It's such a part of my life.
It's so easy to develop new habits, but also get out of certain habits. You got to be mindful of that. Yeah. So I'm dealing with the same thing myself here. So without getting all into it, because it's not about me, but no, I know that very well. So, but are you a coffee, a tea person? Do you get exercise in the day?
I love coffee. I dance. I do like to do something active every day. I think I mentioned I do Muay Thai. I surf.
Really? Okay.
Any days where that happens in the morning, like I have my Dawn Patrol group. We go out at probably 5:30, 6 in the morning up to Malibu and just, that's a great day when that happens.
I'm the biggest surf nerd that has actually not surfed, and I got people who are on the island trying to get me to do it, and I just haven't had an opportunity. But I've got it. We can't really say it on the wall. Have you ever seen the documentary Riding Giants about big wave surfing, about Laird Hamilton and
Riding Giants?
Oh, it's a great
documentary. I haven't seen that one. I've seen Tim. What's his name? Tim Bonnie. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he did a documentary about big wave surfing that when I saw it, I was like, ugh. And I think it's just cool.
Well, this came out in 2004. Just look it up. Riding Giants. It's so great. I got the movie poster and I've got Greg Knoll, who is a kind of the OG big wave surfer, and Laird Hamilton. They all signed it. Had this. It's called Riding Giants. And but yeah, I got the movie poster sign hanging down at the end of my stairway. Yeah, so it's like an odd prized possession. Told my kids when I pass one day, you're not allowed to sell it. This is a special thing. Now the weather's right, man. I'm ready to get out and hit look what they call it, a kook.
Oh yeah. And it's so fun to go out there and just clog up the lineup and just be a like I don't take myself very seriously. Like I am not I'm very amateur. Like the biggest wave I've paddled into is probably like 6 feet, 7 feet, which isn't too small, but still I bomb more often than I shred.
Well, as long as you're out there doing it, that's what makes a difference. Now, last couple questions I got for you. My youngest is out suntanning. She's like, "Are you done with your interview yet?" That's not what she sounds like, but that's the way I'm interpreting it. So if you're doing this for a living, what would you be doing? What would be the number 2 thing to bring you joy? If somebody said TV and film doesn't exist anymore, or theater or anything acting and creative, you got to come up with something else. What would fit for you?
So, I'm sorry, lawyer's daughter. I'm seeing what the loopholes are. I'm seeing hypothetical.
You got the disclaimers running in your mind, yeah.
So could I be a dance teacher? Because I do that and I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I see. Outside of what we mostly know you for, that would be the dance teacher. There you go. See that, and you could have folks in your living room. I got to get one of those bars. I'm looking at that, going, man, I could really stretch out my back.
It's great.
And I'm like,
it's great. I mean, I stretch on it almost every day and use it. Like I go through the lesson plans, and there's something that's so lovely about teaching, because when I teach these girls, like the youngest in the class is, I think, 7 or 8, and the oldest is 9.5, about to be 10. And just going through the basics, it's not just about teaching them how to dance, it's teaching them body awareness and how to be strong and disciplined and poised. Like one of the girls was like, why are you pushing us so hard today? And I was like, because that's how you make progress. That's how you grow. And she had this moment of like, oh, yeah. And she worked through the rest of the class, and she got tired. And I mean, teaching kids how to, I don't know, not only just push through discomfort, but to be strong and give them teach them, like, sharing the love of dance with them. It's fun. I love it.
I think without a discipline like that, they can stand on their own 2 feet, literally and figuratively. It's kind of
or 1 foot. I'm gonna say.
or 1 foot, and spin.
Sorry, horrible joke. Sorry.
No. Believe me, I'm a dad joke like Jedi. Now, the last question I got for you: if you were to jump into that DeLorean and travel back to when you were 16 years old, and you got a piece of advice you want to drop to yourself to make that moment in your life somehow better, or put yourself on a little bit different track, what would that piece of advice be to 16-year-old you?
Probably just trust yourself. Trust yourself more. People's opinions really don't matter. And don't let their opinions of you or your art or your life define what it means. Like trust yourself.
Very, very good. I like that. Well, to Annalise, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing some time, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to checking out the film. Like, again, the cast of Life of Chuck is just excited to see it. That's actually, I'm going to go to the theater to see this one.
I appreciate you going to the theater, because I think this is one of those movies where, you could stream it, but seeing it in a theater with people, hearing them laugh, hearing them cry, hearing them being a part of this experience, it's like, I would recommend going to the theater. So
very good. The Life of Chuck, but I enjoyed the life of Annalise just now. See?
Thank you.
Okay, so
nice. I love it.
All right, Annalise Basso. What a fun conversation. So charming. Really enjoyed the sit down with Annalise, and really looking forward to seeing her in The Life of Chuck. It is in select theaters right now, but tomorrow, Friday, June 13th, it releases wide, as they say. So check it out. It's got Tom Hiddleston, Karen Gillan, Matthew Lillard, Nick Offerman, of course, Luke Skywalker. I'm a kid of the Star Wars era. Mark Hamill. Anything he's in, I'm going to go see. But the buzz on this film is pretty big. A lot of people saying a lot of great things about it. So I am going to go see that in the theater, as we discussed. And pick up that podcast app. Make sure you're following Story and Craft. New episode comes out, boom, you got yourself a notification. Do me a favor also, leave some stars, leave a review, whatever. Show a little bit of love. It is so appreciated and reciprocated. I'm giving you a big bear hug right now, an uncomfortable hug, because that's how much appreciation I got for you. Stopping by every week, and coming up soon, I believe next week, we're going to start releasing 2 episodes per week. That is the plan. So I believe it's going to be on Monday and Thursdays. So that's kind of how that rolls. More of me throughout the week to join you in your earpods or in your car or wherever you listen. Just thank you for making what I've got going on here part of whatever you've got going on. It is greatly appreciated. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. Ranger, the studio dog, looking at me like we got business to do. So I'm going to do that. You go take care of yourself. Be safe, and we'll talk to you next time, right here on Story and Craft.
That's it for this episode of Story and Craft. Join Mark next week for more conversation, right here on Story and Craft. Story and Craft is a presentation of Mark Preston Productions, LLC. Executive producer is Mark Preston. Associate producer is Zachary Holden. Please rate and review Story and Craft on Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. You can subscribe to show updates and stay in the know. Just head to storyandcraftpod.com and sign up for the newsletter. I'm Emma Dillon. See you next time, and remember, keep telling your story.
Real businesses like Malibu Apothecary rely on Spectrum to keep them connected.
We're a fragrance company, but we also have a lot of technology that we use. Spectrum is really the backbone of any of the business we do here. Having a reliable, fast internet service that can fit my budget is really great. I traded a 9 to 5 for a 5 to 9. It's a lot of work, but I love it.
Spectrum Business Internet starts at $40 a month when bundled. Learn more at spectrum.com/business. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.